Let's talk about the Global Disinformation Index because it's basically ESG for news. Like what ESG is for corporations, the Global Disinformation Index is to news. Oh, look, this fucking disgusting windbag is involved. Surprise, surprise. Conservative. All right, this is from Washington Times, so apologies if this is like a little leftist sounding. Conservative media outlets that are struggling as their advertising dollars dry up may have a British-based disinformation group tied to left-wing mega donor George Soros in part to blame. This is so fucking communist. I can tell already. The Global Disinformation Index, a risk ratings outfit that has received State Department funding, secretly distributes blacklists or right tilting news organizations to advertising companies, according to the Washington Examiner series Disinformation Inc. Congressional Republicans called for answers Monday from the State Department. It ought to scare everybody in this country, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that the government is involved in censoring speech. Senator Eric Schmidt, Missouri Republican, said in an email the unholy alliance between government and big tech must be dismantled. Representative Elise Stefanik, a New York Republican, said the State Department should not be funding woke organizations who seek to censor and demonetize conservative outlets. House Republicans will assert our oversight over State Department's fundings of these type of groups, she told the Examiner. The GDI, which has two U.S. nonprofit affiliates, reportedly received more than $300,000 through two State Department backed entities, the Global Engagement Center, which gave the index about $100,000, and the National Endowment for Democracy. Every time I hear democracy now, I just like associate it with like the pushing of communism. That's unfortunate. And they contributed more than $200,000. The National Endowment for Democracy is listed on the GDI website as a funder, as is the Open Society Foundations, which Mr. Soros founded as the principal vehicle for donating to his favored causes. Wow. A State Department spokesperson pushed back on the claim, saying that the Global Engagement Center in no way moderates content on social media platforms. That is not its mission or intent. No, but it's directly related to advertising. The role of G it's literally like the equivalent of kind of debanking someone. The role of the GEC is to identify foreign state and non-state disinformation narratives, or, just information you don't like. We can call that disinformation. Trends and techniques aimed at undermining or influencing the policy, security, or stability of the United States, U.S. allies, and partner nations, the spokesperson told the Washington Times. The department also said that the Global Disinformation Index was put together for an international partnership, read globalism, New World Order, Build Back Better, of professionals who were looking at which nations were the most resistant to disinformation. Wow, this is a global effort to basically shoot down free speech and anybody dissenting from the message, the New World Order, the Build Back Better, the WEF, all of it. So you're basically rewarding the nations that are like that comply with, oh, they're resistant to disinformation, like fucking Canada, probably Australia. Oh, good for you. You're resistant to disinformation, which means you're only letting like commie sources come through and have the most impact. Great. National Endowment for Democracy spokesperson Leslie Awn said her organization gave two grants to GDI, but not to police U.S. political speech. The grants were very narrowly focused on an initiative to identify and combat the disinformation flowing from authoritarian regimes, particularly China, she told the Washington Times. She said the endowment did not fund GDI's work on US based media and that her organization's mandate does not include the United States. We did not and would not and could not cannot fund anything that focuses on the United States. That's funny because I heard from the Daily Wire this morning that they literally named like the 15 problematic news sources, and the Daily Wire was listed as one of them. The Conservative Media Research Center said the GDI has 3 members on its advisory board with ties to Mr. Soros through Open Society Foundations and the Atlantic Council, which he also helped fund. The radical left knows better than anyone that the best way to upend America is to destroy freedom, is to muzzle the voices of their opposition, said Dan Schneider, vice president of the MRC, Free Speech America and MRC Business. They masquerade as defenders of information, but we all know they're just authoritarian thugs. Founded in 2018, the Global Disinformation Index insists it adheres to neutrality in its mission to ensure advertisers' money and brands do not end up supporting high risk websites. High risk meaning, like not leftist. But its risk ratings reveal an anti star conservative bias. In its December report, the index rated the 10 riskiest online news accounts as the New York Post, all my faves, Reason, Real Clear Politics, Daily Wire, The Blaze, the Media Research Center, One American News Network, The American Conservative, The Federalist, Newsmax, and The Spectator. These are all the risk. These all happen to be the riskiest online news outlets. Wow, what a coincidence that they're also non-leftist. The index lowest risk online news accounts included BuzzFeed and Huffington Post. That bullshitty, fluffy garbage. Wow. GDI Executive Director Claire Medford said in 2022 that the index had a significant impact on the advertising revenue of sites branded as purveyors of disinformation, which former State Department official Mike Benz described as devastating. The implementation of ad revenue crushing sentinels like NewsGuard, Global Disinformation Index, and the like has completely crippled the potential of alternative news sources to compete on an even economic playing field with approved media outlets like CNN and the New York Times, said Mr. Benz, a former deputy for the Internal Communications and Information Policy, told the Examiner. Civil rights lawyer Hans Bader lambasted the GDI as very dumb. He said it has nothing to do with disinformation as opposed to blacklisting based on viewpoint. Conservative news outlets also unloaded on the index. New York Post columnist David McCarthy pointed out that none of the media outlets that stoked the now discredited Trump Russia collusion narrative was dinged for disinformation. Isn't that funny? The outlets that pushed Russiagate didn't seem to be penalized for pushing their own disinformation. Yeah, what about all the people who censored the Hunter Biden laptop story? They don't seem to get penalized for it. Government agencies in this country have few powers to suppress journalism and political speech, he said in a Monday op ed. But the First Amendment becomes moot when censorship is outsourced to foreign actors and a small body of politically motivated or intimidated firms that control the infrastructure of mass communications. Boom. I will give this article a shrug. Okay, comments. Soros destroyed the British pound. The Bank of Thailand was convicted of insider trading in France, was under investigation in Ukraine until the Obama administration, Biden, stepped in. We are involved in a war in the Ukraine because Soros paid to have his puppet Zelensky put into office. He has brought and paid for Joe Biden using Ukraine money. Soros' goal is to destroy the American economy by shortening the dollar and making billions when it collapses. And the brainwashed lemming communist liberals are tripping over themselves to help him. I agree. I guess at this point, I mean, this probably doesn't shock a lot of you, and it kind of just brings home the point that like we are going to have to fund our own alternative media. I think it probably does come down to like if you like a place like the Blaze or the Daily Wire, make sure you donate to keep uh, these outlets going. Maybe it's just gonna like run off private donations. Like maybe you don't fucking need federal money. Oh boy. Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right, love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.